All right, well, a battle is brewing in New York with the governor there, Kathy Hochul, rejecting a new wealth tax, even as the New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani keeps pushing the idea.
Our administration is preparing to make the case that it is the time for New York's most profitable corporations and wealthiest residents to pay their fair share.
And then we take you out west, California, seeing a similar fight with a proposed billionaire tax that is sparking some backlash from the state's wealthiest. The plan would impose a one-time 5% tax on billionaires' net worth, an idea that's actually opposed by the governor there, Gavin Newsom.
It's a badly drafted effort. It's already had an outsized impact on this state.
Joining us now here on the Hill, she is the Democratic Congresswoman from California, top Democrat on the House Financial Services Committee, Maxine Waters, back with us once again. Congresswoman, nice to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight. You heard the governor there in your state. Is he wrong?
Well, let me just say this. I have the greatest respect for our governor. He's hardworking. He's very intelligent. He's a real leader. Okay. I don't know enough about why he's supporting, not supporting, rather, a tax on billionaires. I don't have the information that I should have. It's in the legislature. Everyone knows I'm a big supporter of consumers. I'm one of the ones who served on the conference committee for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And so I am a progressive who helped to create a way for consumers to be treated fairly, et cetera, et cetera. There's always been a discussion about whether or not the richest people in this country are paying their fair share of taxes. Now, I understand the governor is making an argument about what? I don't know what he's saying. What is he saying exactly?
He opposes this idea of this 5% one-time tax. And you've got Democrats in your state, your colleague Ro Khanna, who are supporting it.
Yes, I know. And of course, there's oftentimes a difference of opinion. We're not always of the same thoughts and thinking and public policy ways that we would like to have done. And let me just say this. This is the beginning of the conversation as far as I'm concerned. I have not talked with the governor. He's been in my district a couple of times. I've not seen him. I don't know what he's thinking, whether he's thinking, well, a one-time tax is too much. Is he thinking 5% or whatever is too much? Is he thinking that maybe it should happen 5 years from now? Is he thinking? I don't know what he's thinking about why he supports it. I am not going to talk about where I stand at this point without talking with him. And then I will be very clear about what I think.
You haul the growth index. People coming in, people coming out. California, Congresswoman, your home state has been last for the 6th year in a row when it comes to people coming in or people coming out. And here is David Sachs, who is in the Trump administration about this idea. He's a billionaire from California. Here's what he said.
I've been in California for 30 years. It was painful to leave. I had no problem paying one of the highest taxes in the country. I think it's 13.3%. But this is different. This is not a tax. This is an asset seizure. Never been anything like this before in American history. People are trying to minimize it by saying it's a one-time. It's not a one-time.
That truly is something.
By the way, I said billionaire. I don't know his net worth. He's very wealthy. What would you say to him there?
Well, what I'm saying is, I think it's unusual to have a billionaire saying they don't mind paying the taxes and that there's a difference of opinion here. And I do think this is going to be a healthy discussion about this issue. But again, to have a billionaire say it's not too much and that he's willing to do it is very interesting.
Well, you know, let me take you to the other side of the coast because you have Kathy Hochul, the Democratic governor there in New York, put out her budget today. Or put out her budget this week, and she did not include a tax on the rich, on the richest, which is what Zohran Mamdani wanted. Isn't that a reality check, or is it not? I don't know, whatever you think, that whatever Mamdani wants going forward in New York with the richest paying for some of the services there just isn't going to happen?
Well, no, here's what I think. You're going to have a healthy discussion on this issue, and you're going to have people who feel strongly about it, others who do not feel strongly about it, and I think it's time for this discussion to get out into the public, and I thank you for even having me here today to talk about it. I'm very, very pleased.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.